Hello, I'm Britto. I'm a Brazilian artist. I'm actually only 56 years old and I'm still creating artwork in Florida currently. I live in Florida where I create my own unique style of artwork. It's kind of a cross between graffiti and pop art. I draw lots of animals and people, and I add patterns and bright, bold colors to it. So my artwork is very stylized. Let's draw your pet. So if I were drawing your pet, I would pick the cute little dog and I would draw him very simplified. And then I would probably draw some lines through him to break him up in sections and use a thick black line to outline all of it. And fill every section that I created with a different pattern. That's how I create my artwork. Bright, bold color patterns with thick black outlines. It's pretty cool and it's been very successful for me. If you look around, I bet you could find a Britto portrait or drawing somewhere in your community. Have fun creating your pet portraits, and I can't wait to see them. Enjoy! See ya!
As you can see, Britto does beautiful portraits. They're very simple, they're childlike, they're just made of big, bold shapes, and we're going to make one of our own. So what I would like you to do is draw your pet. You could either draw your pet or an animal from the internet that you found a picture of, or maybe a stuffed animal, but we're going to call it a pet portrait. So here I found a picture of my daughter's dog, Buster, and I'm going to draw Buster. So I'm starting off just drawing Buster very simply with a pencil, basic, simple shapes. After you have a nice drawing of your pet, nice and large, you're going to take a black Sharpie and outline all of the pencil lines so that you have a nice, simple black outline of your pet. Britto's artwork all had big, thick black outlines in his drawings, so we need to follow that same pattern to make a fun, simple drawing that is all outlined in black. So that's what I'm doing here, taking my time, going through it all and outlining it. When you're finished outlining your drawing and you have a nice drawing of your pet, you're going to start breaking it up into sections to fill with patterns. Britto's artwork was filled with patterns. Every shape had a different pattern in it. So I'm going to just draw some lines in the background to break the shape up. You could draw pictures, you could draw some trees with shapes or flowers, whatever you want. I'm just going to use lines to break up the background. And then I have a picture of my dog and a background that's all broken up into shapes. I will use fat eraser to erase all my pencil lines and clean my paper up. And then when I look at this, I realize that the lines, the black lines, they really need to be a lot thicker to look like Britto's artwork. So I'm going to go over the black lines. If you have a fat black Sharpie, that's great. If you don't, you could use a regular Sharpie and go over it a couple times, or a black marker, whatever it is that you can get. Try to make a very thick black line. And then when you have your drawing of your pet and everything's simply drawn, there's shapes in the background for you to add patterns in, the dog is all drawn, or whatever animal you're doing, then we're going to begin by filling each section with shapes. I would like you to do the whole background before you start the animal. The reason for this is because it'll make it much simpler at the end to make your animal stand out. So after it's all outlined and ready to go, I'm going to pick one of these sections in the background and I am going to fill it with a pattern. I think marker is probably the best thing for this project, but feel free to use whatever you have at home. And I am going to just fill each section with a pattern. For this pattern, I'm going to make pink polka dots, and I'm going to take my time, color nice and neat, and fill the entire section with pink polka dots. Then I'm going to pick a contrasting color, a color that stands out nice next to it. I chose this lime green, and I will fill in all the areas in between. As you can see, I'm being as neat as I can on this section, and I'm going to fill it all in. Then I'm going to go to another section, and I'm going to choose a different type of pattern. Here I chose zigzag lines and a different color. I'm going to start with red, and I'm going to fill it all in. And I'm going to go around the whole background and fill it with color and patterns until it's all filled up. So here is my background of Buster, and I'm finishing up the final details. I'm just thinking about all the colors and adding different patterns all around it. Sometimes it's hard to think of new patterns, and you could look around the house, or you could look up some Romero Britto artwork on your iPad or on your computer, and you could try to look at some of the patterns that he used to get some good ideas. You could look at fabrics for different patterns, and it's okay if you have to repeat things. Just try to use lots of colors. So now I am done with the background. I found a photo here of a Britto dog, and I'm going to use it to as an example to break my dog up into shapes. So I took a few lines and broke up the dog into a few simple shapes. I cut his head in half, his snout in half, his arms a little bit, and I made a few nice, thick black lines. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the background, and I'm going to fill the dog with patterns. Your portrait should be colorful. It should not have a lot of white at all. You should do your best to stay in the lines. There's a lot of great Romero Britto artwork that you could look at for ideas. I kind of like how this one has trees in the background. I wish I had done something like that. But you still can. And it doesn't matter if your dog or your cat or your pet is drawn perfectly realistically. Look at this example. That little cat just has little squints for eyes. So don't be hard on yourself. Just draw a nice, cute, happy drawing of a pet, because all of Romero Britto's drawings are very happy with simple shapes and thick black lines. And then you can fill every shape up with the different colors and patterns. So that's how I'm going to do my Romero Britto portrait of Buster here. And I'm going to fill them all up with colors. I hope that this is a fun project for you. It's going to be tiring, and you're definitely going to have to take some breaks in between. You're probably not going to be able to sit there and color it all in one spot. But when you're done, you should have a colorful, happy portrait like Romero Britto's pop art. And here is my happy little Buster. Have fun. Can't wait to see what you create.